What's up, Royals? I'm yours truly, King Chris. Welcome back to the conversation. This conversation takes us to Houston, Texas. A mother and daughter left a baseball game, and as they arrived home in their neighborhood, they were attacked by a race soldier, neighbor, boyfriend that tells the mother and daughter that they don't belong in the neighborhood. And allegedly, he do not own a home in the neighborhood. He lives with his girlfriend. Let's get into it.
Man is facing multiple misdemeanor charges of assault and terroristic threatening with a hate crime enhancement. Prosecutors say a mother and daughter in Montreux the N-word over and over again by their neighbor. That encounter happened only 2 weeks ago. That man is identified by prosecutors and Houston police as 42-year-old Chad Harris Creech. He was charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of assault and 2 counts of terroristic threatening. And because he allegedly used the N-word multiple times, prosecutors enhance his charge under hate crime. We caught up with Creech in his driveway. Here's what he had to say about the allegations. Wanted to talk to you about your incident with your neighbor. I have no comment. There's a legal proceeding going on. All what you claim is absolutely false. So you never called her name? Nope. Absolutely. You never hit her daughter? Absolutely not, no. So nothing, everything that she said happened. Complete fabrication. Complete fabrication. 100%. So what happened that day? We were trying to back out of our yard, and she started yelling at my wife, and causing a commotion in the street, and her daughter got out of the car with a weapon and came onto my yard. What kind of weapon did her daughter have? Looked like an axe. An axe? Looked like an axe. Why would she have an axe? And I called the police. A car? Don't know. I called the police and I called 911, and that's what came out in my 911 call. They came to my house and they arrested me off a bunch of false stuff. False accusations. So that's what. So that's the only comment I have, and the rest is going to happen. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay, Royals. So I'm just going to jump right into this conversation before I show you the other clip. My thing is with this guy, if this girl had an axe on scene when the police arrived, don't you think they would have took her to jail? Don't you think they would have took him to jail, and there most likely wouldn't have been an arrest of this white race soldier? And my thing is too, so allegedly he didn't even live in that house. He lived with his girlfriend, and he says his wife. So I want to know what is the truth behind that story. Just because a black person enters into a neighborhood, he wants to yell, "Oh, you don't belong here," when actually you don't belong here. Most likely you're probably freeloading off your girlfriend. And as I always told you, he didn't apologize, and he most likely he's not going to apologize. He's going to story and say that nothing happened, but obviously it is something that happened there for them to bring in a arrest, because we already know that black people are always guilty at the scene, and for this mother and the daughter not to be arrested, his rhetoric and his lies is not adding up.
After police and prosecutors say he called the mom and daughter bitches as well as the N-word and threatened to kill them if they called the cops. So Michelle, take us back. 2 weeks ago, you were coming home from an Astros game with your daughter, and you're close to your home on your street.
Yes, and we drive on our street, and there's a vehicle that's parked in the street blocking it, and there's a gentleman talking to the female that's driving the vehicle. And my daughter and I are having such a great time after leaving the game a little early. The Astros are up 4-0. Lance McCullers Jr., just pitched a great game, and we were just on a high. And we realized that the car, that the female was driving, it wasn't moving. And we waited, and I lightly tapped the horn, to get their attention, because I figured maybe they couldn't see us because we were in a low, convertible sports car. Well, then the gentleman that I later found out, his name is Chad, he comes over and he says, "What the F is wrong with you two And at that point, I was completely shocked and taken away. And my daughter responds, "We're just trying to get, to our home." And then he says, walking towards the vehicle while I'm still in the seatbelt, "You don't live here. What are you talking about? Look at you." And that's when I'm like, "Yes, I do. We live right here, 2 houses down." And that's when he takes his cup that was filled with alcohol and he just throws it in my face, the alcohol-filled cup, and hits me with the cup. And he's still walking towards the car. And at that point, I'm blinded. I couldn't see anything because my eyes are burning. There's alcohol. And a few seconds later, I hear my daughter telling him, back up, back away from the car. Because apparently, I guess he's still walking towards the car. I was, disoriented. I had alcohol burning my eyes. And that's when he strikes my daughter, and she falls to the ground at the left side of the vehicle, on the driver's side rather, in the back. And I tell her, "Emily, get back in the car. I'm calling the police." And that's when Mr. Chad says, if you call the cops for me, I'm going to kill you. And at that point, it really enraged me. And I think I was pressing those buttons on my phone probably 20 times harder. And that's when I called 911 and alerted them as far as what was going on. How he had, assaulted us and called us and MFs and told us that we didn't live here and just every filthy thing that he could think of.
And there was also a threat of death.
Yes. He said that if we would call the cops, he would kill us. And at that point, as mentioned, I was angry. And I was definitely going to call the police.
To have all of that happen to you, not only just to you, but to your daughter, to be physically assaulted in a community like Montrose that's very diverse. What goes through your mind on something like that?
I was completely mortified. Honestly, it was sort of like happening in slow motion. It was like an out of body experience for me. I've been in this neighborhood, for 17 years, and Montrose is a fun, wild, open community, and so to hear racial slurs from someone down the street or on your block or even in your neighborhood was shocking to me. It was hurtful.
But the kicker is, he doesn't own a house that he lives in.
He doesn't even own the home. I found out later from the police officer who arrested him that evening that the girlfriend actually owns the home and he lives with the girlfriend. So,
but he's telling you, you don't live here. You don't belong here.
Yes. And it's just quite interesting that he doesn't live here and he doesn't belong here. And people like that don't belong in Montrose.
Now, we also spoke with the Harris County Assistant District Attorney, who's prosecuting Chad Creech, who is obviously out on bond now. You see him there. He also cannot contact Mrs. Prophet. Hunter Brown says this type of behavior will not be tolerated in Montrose or any community in Harris County.
I've spoken with the victim, and I think it's really important that she is, she's had her world sort of turned upside down by this. She's lived there for quite some time and never been called a racial epithet. And this was the first time it's ever happened. And it also was coupled with violence. And I think that's a really important thing for us to address in our position.
Okay, Royal, so let's make some sense out of it. As I told you earlier, this guy is lying. This guy did exactly what they say that he did. He assaulted this little girl. He assaulted her by splashing the alcohol in her face, and he didn't even live there. He don't even live there. So as she said, he don't belong there. But she's very naive not to realize that race problems exist in every community, in every county, in every state that you live in. It's there. And trust me, it's just not him down the street that feels the same way. There are more race soldiers in your neighborhood. My black and brown skin people, I love you guys so much, and everyone else. Remember, stay up, never down. Until we meet again, may God bless.